We've had a gala of a week, from journalisming all over each other to disinformation and every lie in between. Elizabeth Warren is seething because babies will live. Joe Biden tried to be funny by laughing at all of us. Someone got the COVID, and we're being monitored by Mary Poppins. Let me explain. Everything is just so funny right now. It's all one big joke, but it's not funny. I mean, sure, it's funny to those in the penguin suits. I like to call them the ruling class. Joe Biden just calls them his friends.
These people have been so hard on you, which I don't get. I really don't. I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. Gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
Everything. It's just so funny. Let me laugh at the plebes. Which brings us to today's question. You, fellow plebe, if you were hosting the White House Correspondents Dinner, what's the main joke you would tell? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and please share the video with your fellow plebes, those who are allowed to live, contrary to what Elizabeth Warren wants, but we'll get to that later. Now back to the hosting of the White House Correspondents Dinner. I'll give Trevor Noah some credit, a little bit of credit, just because he at least made one joke that the rest of us all call truth.
It is my great honor to be speaking tonight at the nation's most distinguished super spreader event. No, for real, people, what are we doing here? Let's be honest, what are we doing? Did none of you learn anything from the gridiron dinner? Nothing, huh? Do you read any of your own newspapers? I mean, I expect this from Sean Hannity, but the rest of you, what are you doing here? You guys spent the last 2 years telling everyone the importance of wearing masks and avoiding large indoor gatherings. Then the second someone offers you a free dinner, you all turn into Joe Rogan, huh? I mean, Dr. Fauci dropped out. That should have been a pretty big sign.
Silly Trevor. Also, I did not realize that Jeff Dunham's puppet Walter was in attendance, at the head table, no less. And Trevor's absolutely right. It could have been a super spreader event. That's why the greatest of all lying doctors, Tony the Fauci, said he was not going to attend. Instead, he went to the pre-party with CNN's Don Lemon, where I guess the COVID doesn't hang out because it must have only been inside the Correspondents' Dinner, not the pre-party to the Correspondents' Dinner. Being the omniscient, almighty Dr. Savior, the Fauci did an individual assessment of personal risk and found that to be the truth. The flip-flopper Fauci earlier in the week was doing his usual TV cajoling and told PBS that we are getting out of the pandemic.
We are certainly right now in this country out of the pandemic phase. Namely, we don't have 900,000 new infections a day and tens and tens and tens of thousands of hospitalizations and thousands of deaths. We are at a low level right now. So if you're saying, are we out of the pandemic phase in this country? We are. What we hope to do, I don't believe, and I've spoken about this widely, we're not going to eradicate this virus.
So the pandemic is over. Certainly, according to Fauci. Cool beans. But of course he had to walk that one back real quick once, because that may mean people can live their lives. And, we simply cannot have that. Tony can, but you can't. And that's why it's okay that Tony went to the brunch and not the dinner of the Correspondents' Gala. He was there in spirit because he was still massaging at least one member of the media, like they all were doing to each other that night.
What a room this is, huh? Look at this room. Everyone is here tonight. We've got politicians, huh? We've got the media, we've got celebrities, basically anyone who's been to Jeffrey Epstein's island. This is an exclusive event.
Notice how offended they all were. It's because he just spoke the truth. And that truth was not found in pretty much any of Biden's attempt at speech and the funny ha-has.
Tonight, we come here to answer a very important question in everybody's mind. Why in the hell are we still doing this? This is the first time the president attended this dinner in 6 years. It's understandable. We had a horrible plague, followed by 2 years of COVID. Just imagine if my predecessor came to this dinner this year. Now that would really have been a real coup if that occurred. A little tough, huh?
No, just wholly awkward and unfunny.
Ronald Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear this wall down. Today's Republicans say, tear down Mickey Mouse's house. And pretty soon they'll be storming Cinderella's castle, you can be sure of it. But Republicans seem to support one fella, some guy named Brandon. He's having a really good year, and I'm kind of happy for him.
I just broke out in hives. How about you? Okay, maybe I didn't, but who's going to call me on it? Oh, yes, the federal government to the rescue. That's right, the Department of Homeland Security will unleash upon me the newly created Disinformation Governance Board.
Will American citizens be monitored?
No.
Guarantee that.
Well, so what we do, we in the Department of Homeland Security don't monitor American citizens.
You don't, but will this board change that?
No. The board does not have any operational authority or capability. What it will do is gather together best practices in addressing the threat of disinformation from foreign state adversaries, from the cartels, and disseminate those best practices to the operators that have been executing in addressing this threat for years.
Oh, sure. PSA, for the 90th time, if you have not yet read 1984 by George Orwell, please go read it now. This is insanity. And it's insanity that will be led by Nina Jankowicz, a disinformation czar who was a disinformation fellow at the Wilson Center. She's the very same woman who said the Hunter Biden laptop should be viewed as a Trump campaign product. But let's let Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas try to convince us otherwise.
Eminently qualified, a renowned expert in the field of disinformation. Absolutely so.
Absolutely neutral. Mary Poppins says so.
When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice or vote. Oh, information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origin seems slightly less atrocious. Whew.
Nailed it! Let's recap. The federal government just created a disinformation board, the Disinformation Governance Board, or the DGB. Let me enunciate on that, the DGB, so as not to be confused with another agency from the Soviet Union days. I'm sure there's no resemblance, none whatsoever. I never thought I would wish to have Dolores Umbridge from the Ministry of Magic take over such a role, but I think I would rather have Umbridge than this lady.
Now let me make this quite plain. You have been told that a certain dark wizard is at large once again. This is a lie. Now, I want you to write, I must not tell lies.
How many times?
Well, let's say for as long as it takes for the message to sink in. Because you know, deep down, you deserve to be punished. Don't you, Mr. Potter?
Yes, that witchy woman is better than Jankowicz, who is now running the non-fictional Ministry of Truth. And in reality, she should start with her own president, Joey, who is making up lies about the role of the federal government involving abortion. After the leak of a draft opinion by the court on overturning Roe v. Wade, President Biden decided to urge lawmakers and voters to fight for abortion rights. Yes, Joe Biden urges the living to vote for killing. And Senator Elizabeth Warren takes it about 17 steps further.
I am angry because of who will pay the price for this. It will not be wealthy women. Wealthy women can get on an airplane. They can fly to another state. They can fly to another country. They can get the protection they need. This will fall on the poorest women in our country.
So the argument is that if Roe v. Wade is overturned and left to the states to decide the rich can kill the babies in luxury and that more minority babies will live. Fine. One question. What's a woman?
How are you feeling? I am angry.
Angry and upset?
Angry and upset and determined. The United States Congress can keep Roe versus Wade the law of the land. They just need to do it.
I've never seen you so angry. You seem to be...
This is what the Republicans have been working toward this day for decades. They have been out there plotting, carefully cultivating.
Lizzie's a good Methodist, though, just as Joe's a good Catholic. You must remember this. Joe demonstrated as much on this year's Ash Wednesday.
And last night you continue to support Roe v. Wade as a Catholic. Why do you support abortion as a Catholic? Define church teaching.
I tell you what, I don't want to get in a debate with you on theology, but well, anyway.
Why support abortion?
I'm not going to make a judgment for other people.
Yeah, he's just going to make a judgment for the babies, and that judgment is death. Side note, did you see how quickly Jill sped over to him? Maybe she wrote about that event in her newly released biography. That is so popular because she is the greatest of all doctors, though it's a battle between her and Anthony. She's so popular that the book sold 250 copies. Her husband did get 81 million votes because he's so popular too. And according to the book's description, Dr. Jill Biden has been described as President Joe Biden's greatest political asset. So naturally, the book sold fewer copies than the number of times she has lied for her husband during his first year in office. But good Christians all around. Joe's response on abortion is kind of like the other Catholic who brags about being such a good Catholic. She's so good that she went all the way to Ukraine. There she is, being the bright, shining beacon of hope that is Nancy Pelosi. I just assume Nancy had some business dealings when she was there, too, because, that ice cream doesn't buy itself. Am I right?
We believe that we are visiting you to say thank you for your fight for freedom, that we are on a frontier of freedom, and that your fight is a fight for everyone. And so our commitment is to be there for you until the fight is done.
She traveled all the way to Ukraine on your dollar to say that. Neat. But that's why she wasn't at the Correspondents' Dinner. She had to be the shining star, becoming the highest-ranking official to visit Ukraine since the Russian invasion. The person next in line, ahead of her, couldn't go because she got the thing. Which brings us to...
Where in the world is Kamalama Ding Dong?
Kamalama has been jabbed with both doses of the vaccine for the thing. Then she got a booster for the thing, and she wears a mask everywhere to hide the menacing smile and muffle that cackle. And then she got the thing. But she added to her litany of action to protect against the thing by taking an antiviral pill. And she will mask up to protect her ego or something. Not like all those unmasked at the Met Gala, where those who wear the goofiest of outfits are protected from the thing. Like New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who tried to one-up Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in his chalkboard outfit at the Met Gala. Last year, we remember, AOC in her, tax the rich dress. Well, in comes Adams this year with an end gun violence tux. These are the true heroes. What we've learned this week is that COVID won't get you if you are at an indoor event, if it's, for a just reason, or if you are part of that ruling class. But it will get you if you are triple jabbed and wearing a mask. That is the truth. So I guess I can now be the head of the Ministry of Truth. The truth of the truth is that you should continue to give your Fs, faith, family, and friends. And you should share this video. Until next time, stay healthy, America.